Welcome to Breaking Solo, how solopreneurs break barriers, build brands, and embrace the future of business.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Breaking Solo. I'm very excited for my guest today. Deirdre Martin is with us. Deirdre, welcome to the podcast. Tell the audience who you are and what you do.
Thank you so much for having me, Donna. I'm super excited to be here. And before you say any of that, I'm from Kilkenny in Ireland. So if you're hearing this accent and wondering where is she from or who is this lady, that's my accent. So again, thank you for having me. Deirdre Martin is my name. And what do I do? Well, you know, when you've built a super successful business and you've got this amazing strategy, it looks great on paper, and by every account, it should just be so easy to implement and achieve success. But internally, you feel like everything is really hard, and mentally, you're struggling with managing and juggling all of the things, whether it's people or marketing or strategy itself, all of those things. Well, what I do is I help founders to make all of that much easier and simpler. And typically I work with purpose-driven founders who are coaches, consultants, and service providers. And I use neuroscience to help them attract clients that they really enjoy working with, but in a way that helps them reduce all of that cognitive mental load, the decision fatigue. I help them create messaging, leveraging neuroscience so that the messaging attracts their right fit clients who are not going to wear them out, and all of that. So overall, their business becomes simpler, more profitable, and more sustainable as they scale to their first multiple six figures or beyond their first million.
That's awesome. Those are all necessary to survive this solopreneur journey. So tell me, what inspired you to go solo?
Oh, it was, I think, fate destined, Donna. I was working in retail banking for 20 years and I was a bank branch manager in my city here in Ireland, in Kilkenny. And what happened was the bank was exiting the country, and I was told that our bank branch was one of the first that was going to be closed. They were closing them in clusters, and ours was in the first cluster, unfortunately. I was already earning multiple six figures, thinking, oh my gosh, I had never gone to university. I did not have a degree. How am I going to be able to replace this amazing corporate salary and not have to commute every day for an hour and a half each way? And so what I decided to do was I went and got some coaching, and I ended up having to start my business because I was being laid off. And so it was born out of necessity rather than desire. And in retrospect, I wished I'd had the opportunity to be working for a corporate or for a company and then be able to start my business as a side hustle so you can hit the ground running. But unfortunately, it didn't happen that way. But also a blessing in disguise.
Well, that's incredible that you found it by accident, really. But have you had any really big challenges that you've had to overcome? And have you overcome them, or are they still a challenge?
Honestly, I think everything in business when you're a solopreneur feels challenging. And if I think when I look back at things retrospectively as well, they say success leaves clues. And I think, I was very fortunate insofar as that when I was running the bank branch, it was essentially like running my own business. I had a team of people. I had to manage everything bar the purse strings. And, as a bank manager and in previous roles, I was lending millions of euro. I was helping people invest millions of euro. And it's the hardest part for me has been managing my cash, honestly, and managing cash flow and not just looking at revenue. And I think one of the things that I've really learned is that sales is vanity, profit is sanity. And that's a lesson I'm still learning all of the time. And it's like, you see the money coming into the company, my LLC equivalent, my company account here in Ireland, and, business is going well, thankfully. I'm making multiple six figures now. But then I had a situation in 2025 where my team expanded to 7 people. And then all of a sudden I'm paying all of these 7 people. I lost a huge client contract. And then I'm like, oh gosh, how am I going to replace this revenue and income? And what ended up happening was I didn't react quickly enough. And I ended up paying these people for deliverables. They were white labeling services for me, paying these people for deliverables when eventually I got to the point where I was thinking, oh my gosh, how am I going to be able to pay myself next month? So that cash flow piece is, and as a bank manager, I mean, I've studied credit. I know how it works. It's the most difficult part for me, and definitely something I speak very openly about with my clients and on my own podcast as well.
Yeah, that's I've been there, done that. Lost the huge client and had to let people go, and that's so hard. So yeah, I so get that challenge. That definitely gets in the way of enjoying the process. So, how did you find your unique niche?
I think to a certain extent, Donna, I'm still finding it. I think when I started my business, initially what I did, it was COVID. It was lockdown. It was January 2021. Everywhere was closed. The only thing that was open were professional services, essential services. And I think had it not been COVID, I probably would have went and got some sort of office space where I was going to meet people in person. And so circumstances at the time sort of generated the type of business I was going to set up and how. And I had studied customer experience management in 2014. And through the coaching that I mentioned when I was being laid off, my coach helped me figure out that maybe a great business opportunity would be to set up a customer experience consulting business. So that's where I started out. What I learned as I went through that process was, first off, the essential services that were open were like financial services, legal services, accounting firms. And those were all within my sphere. There were people that I had worked quite closely with when I was in the bank. I was looking at accounts to see would we lend these people money, solicitors for buying houses, property, you name it, all of the things. So I was quite comfortable dealing with people in those types of professions. But what I found was the clients I was attracting were far bigger than what I was possibly capable of handling by myself at that time as a very new business owner, starting something that I hadn't been doing full time, even though I had, but I hadn't been doing it full time. I had a lot of imposter syndrome and all the things that come when you start a new business. And so my niche kind of just evolved from that. And to an extent, whilst I still do customer experience, very much everything that I do is centered around customer experience. How I deliver that and how I position myself is actually where my niche is now. So I still service those clients, but at a smaller level. And it's more so not necessarily around the demographic of who my niche is. It's the psychographic around the challenges that they have. And then it's the services that I provide. So rather than saying I serve chief technical officers or I serve cybersecurity consultants, instead I'll say that I serve founders who are X, Y, or Z because they have this frustration, irritation, aspiration, need, want, or desire. And that's far more important to me from a behavioral perspective, that I get the right fit client in that way rather than they meet a specific demographic. Does that make sense?
Makes perfect sense. And it also probably really allows you to work with the right people because it is about their behavior and where they are and how you can help.
Exactly. Yeah. So much more fun and so much more aligned.
Yes, I can see that. So listeners, pay attention to that because it doesn't always you don't always have to say, oh, I'm going to work with attorneys or plumbers or whatever that is. You can expand how you think about your niche and then do what Deirdre's done.
Yeah, and I think I would add to that, Donna, like the riches are in the niches. There's no question about that. What I will say is your niche, or niche, as I would say here, your niche doesn't have to be around somebody's demographics or psychographics. So again, I'm a coach. I'm a story brand coach. I'm a level C brand strategist. I'm all of those things. But actually, my niche is in neuro strategies. Neurostrategies is a category that I have created. So my category is new. There is no such term technically as neurostrategy. But what I do is I apply neuroscience to messaging, to marketing, to brand, to offer building, to customer experiences, to sales processes, to all of it. And so then I have designed my own niche, and then it's about finding the right fit clients based on psychographics to come in. So it's category defining rather than niching, if that makes sense.
It does.
Yeah.
Good for you for figuring that out. Okay, so tell me, do you see any industry trends that solopreneurs should be paying attention to?
Oh, I think the biggest one is AI. There's so much I could say about AI. I'm sure you're the same too. It's like, how much AI do I use? Am I overusing it? And what's really interesting is just this week, Gallup released a report. I don't know if you've seen this or if you're familiar with Gallup. Gallup are a consultancy firm that do strengths finding and exercises with a huge number of corporates globally. And they released an article just this past week around AI usage. And so apparently the trends are showing that AI usage hasn't increased significantly in the last couple of years, but actually the people who are using it, their use of it is increasing. So what that's telling us is the number of adopters is not going up, but the people who are using it are utilizing it more and more. And in my mind, that creates a couple of different challenges. First off, as a solopreneur, again, sales is vanity, our profit is sanity. And it's, had I not had those 7 people on my team last year, my end of year would have been better by the 31st of December because I would have had more profits. So it makes fiscal sense to leverage AI as much as possible in terms of task handling. But the danger in overutilization is that you take the human out of the loop. And when the human is taken out of the loop and there's none of your thought leadership or there's none of your opinions or your insights and things that you're using, the danger is not only do you lose your voice to AI, and I've seen this happen. I've had clients come to me to work on their messaging. I'm like, how would you typically say this? Oh, I don't know. Let's ask ChatGPT. No, pull my hair out. And honestly, that's happened more than once. And, so I feel like what's happening is that people are losing their voice. They're losing some of their thinking. They're losing their creativity because they've overutilized what AI and learning language models can do for them. So I think reshaping and reframing what AI can do for you is definitely something to look at and to leverage it, but in a way where it's almost like your virtual assistant rather than your thinking partner or your strategist or your somebody who you're going to use as your coach. And actually, I saw something in the New York Times this morning. I got a notification on my phone. It's like it's affecting people with mental health and so many things as well. People are using AI to coach them through mental health challenges. No, pay for an actual coach because there's so much nuance in us as humans that I think people are overlooking and unfortunately using AI in the wrong way.
Yeah, that's kind of scary.
Yeah. Sorry, rant
That's
over.
Yeah, don't do that, folks. Don't do that. I mean, I love AI and I probably use it. Well, I do. I use it a lot. But I am careful about, I still have to think for myself and it has to be my opinions, not AI's. So it loses the human emotion that we have as people.
And even your question around insights, Like AI can't provide insights. AI can't provide context or sensory detail in the same way that a human can. And, when you're telling stories or writing messaging or you're trying to figure out where are people at right now, like right now in Dublin, in Ireland, we have crazy floods. We haven't seen things like this for years. But having a human in the loop when it comes to writing a message or calling a client, AI would just call the client or just do whatever. But a human in the loop would say, oh my gosh, how are you affected today with the floods? That's the
Yeah,
difference,
exactly. Yes. We remain human and not just doing the task.
Yes.
So, okay. So pay attention, folks. Don't let AI take over. Okay. Tell me, Deirdre, what's one tool, app, or resource that you absolutely can't live without in your business?
Ugh. I knew you were going to ask me this question, and I'm like, there's probably a few. I love Fathom Note Taker for client meetings. So in my one of the services I provide, it's called Million Eyes Mastermind, and it's a hybrid program. And I meet clients one-to-one. We work through all of their stuff, and then Fathom takes notes, and then I upload it to a dashboard on Notion. So Fathom and Notion are two incredible tools because everything lives there. Those are two I could not live without. And those were probably my best finds of 2023, 2024. But my favorite find in terms of tools for 2025 is Scripe. Not Stripe, the payment system, Scripe. Scripe is like ChatGPT, but just for LinkedIn. So it's built just for LinkedIn, and it goes and scrapes data just off of LinkedIn and just off of your LinkedIn content. So you can build your knowledge base within it. And what it does is how you write posts, the topics you talk about, how you format your posts, things that you've shared previously in terms of thought leadership or client success stories or case studies or promotions you've had, anything you've shared on LinkedIn, it scrapes your data and information and will help you create posts based on that. It's super quick, super easy to use, and you can schedule the content directly within the platform. So that has been my favorite find of 2025. It's still early in 2026, so I don't know what this year's one is going to be yet.
That's good. Scripe is a new one. I have not heard in 44 episodes. Nobody has mentioned that one. So thank you. I like finding new stuff. Okay. Do you have daily habits or routines that help you to stay focused and productive?
Do you know, I've just realized recently that I'm ADD. So attention deficit disorder. I don't know how I've managed, and actually I haven't just realized, I've been diagnosed by a clinical psychologist recently as having ADD. So it's not just something I'm dreaming up. And I always wondered, oh my gosh, why do I find it so hard to do these things? And I know my number one thing that I do is I activate. My biggest challenge is actually seeing things all the way through till the end. So I could have a million tabs open, but I know that that doesn't work for me. So one of the things that has 1,000,000% helped me get my crap together for running a business as a solopreneur is reading the book Buy Back Your Time by Donna Martin. So now, and I have done stuff on this, on time management, and I've had training on productivity and time management over the years when I worked in banking, but it literally is habitual and it's behavioral and it's managing the stuff and it's creating the habits. It's habit stacking, as James Clear would say.
Right.
But Buy Back Your Time has made me run my calendar like it's my drill sergeant. And what I do is I block off time. There's certain things that are rocks in my diary. Those rocks do not move for love nor money. And if I don't have that time in my calendar, so each year, at the start of this year, I did the exact same. I sat down, I figured out what are my goals for this year and how much time do I need to allocate to different tasks and activities that I need to work on to make sure that I achieve those goals. Because if I don't prioritize the time to actually achieve them, well, then they're never going to happen. And so it's like, okay, what are the needle moving activities that are important for me to prioritize time around? And so it's my calendar. It has to be in my calendar. If it's not my calendar, it just doesn't happen. So I've got date night in my calendar. I've got my horse riding time in my calendar. I've got lunch. I've got kids to be collected from school. All of my personal life is in my calendar as much as my business stuff. Even like in the morning, I've got shower, breakfast, workout, all together in my calendar, everything. If it's not there, it doesn't work. So Buy Back Your Time by Dan Martell has been invaluable to helping me manage my time more efficiently.
Awesome. And do you use a paper planner or an electronic?
My Google Calendar. That's it.
Yeah. So I recently, well, it's probably been 2 years now, started using Full Focus. And it takes you through all of those same things that you just mentioned. So your big goals, and then how do you break all of that down? And yeah.
Well, I
So
haven't heard
cool.
of that one yet. I'll take note.
Full Focus by Michael Hyatt. It's his Full Focus planner, and it is paper. There's something about writing it that helps me connect with my brain.
Yeah, and that's scientifically proven too, Donna. So usually what I do is I have journal time in the morning, and in my journal time, I will still write what are my priorities for today and what are the things that, okay, this day will be a good day if I have done X.
Yeah. Yep.
That helps too.
Yep. Absolutely. Okay. So tell me, what's one piece of advice that you would give someone that is just starting their solopreneur journey?
I think the word just is the part that I would give them advice around. And it's like you're just starting your solopreneur journey. You're just a coach. You're just a consultant. You're just a freelancer. No, you're not. It's actually an identity shift. You're a business owner. You're the CEO of your life and business, even if you're just starting out in this part. And, it's the word just, and not to diminish who you are and what you've done. And I love to say it to people, even when they're brand new, it's like the Liam Neeson scene in Taken, the movie, where he's like, I have a very particular set of skills that I've acquired over a very long period of time. And I say this to every client that I meet who is in that startup phase. You have a very strong set of skills that you've probably acquired over a very long period of time. And because you're new doesn't mean that you are any less capable or competent than anybody else. So the part that I say to people is it's an identity shift. That's the piece that's missing. I think you are not just a solopreneur. You are a startup entrepreneur who is the CEO of your life and business with a very particular set of skills you've acquired over a very long period of time. And you can do incredible things and have a great impact on people.
That's really great advice. Yeah, because like you said earlier, that imposter syndrome can get in the way of us taking, the 5th step or the 6th step to continue to move forward. Okay, tell us, do you have any exciting projects or launches coming up that you'd like to share?
Oh, I have so many exciting things coming up, Donna. There's a few things I'm doing this year which are a little bit different to previous years. So I have a couple of collaborations coming up that I'm super excited about. I've not done collaborations like this before. So there's one coming up with somebody from Minnesota who is coming to Ireland. We're hosting a 2-day event together, and it's sales, marketing, mindset, and how to make 2026 your best year yet. It's really geared for people who are provide fractional types of services, whether you're fractional CTO, CMO, COO, CFO, any of the fractional roles. That's who it's for. And it will be here in Ireland for a couple of days in April. So that's going to be fun. And then in May, I'm hosting my own summit, which will be it's Millionize is my mastermind. So it's a Millionize summit. And I have some incredible speakers who are coming from abroad as well to come and attend this summit and show off to my clients. And the doors to Millionize will be opening around that time. That will be at the end of May. So a collaboration, my own Millionize Summit, and loads of other things going on too. But you'd be here all year if I told you what they were. But those are two of the bigger ones coming in the next coming months.
That sounds very exciting. I wish you great luck with both of those.
Thank you.
Okay, tell our listeners where they can connect with you and learn more about what you do.
Easiest place to find me is LinkedIn. I show up there nearly 7 days a week, so you'll find me on LinkedIn talking about all things leadership, messaging, brand strategy, all of the stuff. And just search my name, Deirdre Martin, and customer experience, and I will come up. And also my website, www.deirdremartin.ie.
Very cool. Thank you so much for being with me today. I really enjoyed our conversation. And listeners, if you have not liked or left us a review on the podcast, please do so now. And we'll see you next week. Thanks so much.